Are you struggling to trust God in this season that you're in? Do you feel like you're praying and you're waiting and nothing is happening and you're just like, God, do you hear me? I'm praying. I don't feel you. I don't see anything happening. Nothing's moving. Nothing's shaking. Nothing's happening. If that's you, stay tuned because this video is for you. So the truth is, trusting God does not mean things will get easy. It does not mean life is going to get easy. Trusting God does not mean you'll never doubt him or you'll never worry. That's not what trusting God means. That's not what trusting God means. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges or any of those things. It means that you're going to stop leaning on what you can control and start leaning into who God is, what he can do. Nothing about you, what he can do. Okay? I know we've all been there because I've been there myself. And I'll give y'all some examples of just kind of how things have turned out when I didn't trust God, how things have turned out when I did trust God. And I'll also give you some biblical examples of what happens when you do trust and what happens when you don't trust. We've all been here. None of us are perfect. Sometimes we find ourselves going in a cycle of struggle of trusting God 1 minute and not trusting him the next, trusting him for 2 days and being like, all right, now I ain't heard you. What's going on? So I know that this is for so many people to include myself. And so sometimes we say, God, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing. But that's what trust looks like. Trust looks like, I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing, but it's none of my business. It's none of my business how you're going to finish what you promised. It's not my business to know how God is going to do his job. It's not my business to know how God is going to work it out. I just know God is God. He said what he said and he's going to do it. And I prayed about it. He's going to come through. I know that I'm moving in his will. So it don't matter what happens. I just know God got it. That's trusting God. That's trusting God. You're blindly going in and saying, God, I know who you are. I know who you are to me. I know who I belong to. I don't know how this situation is going to turn around. I don't know how I'm going to get this bill paid. I don't know how these relationships are going to work or come into fruition. I don't know how my business is going to pop off. I don't know. But it's none of my business because God's going to do what he said he was going to do. God's going to be God. That's trusting God. Okay. So I want y'all to remember that sometimes we try to say, oh, I'm praying about something and, I don't know how God gonna do it, but maybe I should. You don't need to maybe I should. You don't need to put your hands in it. You just need to trust God and not worry about how he's going to do it, how he's going to come through or any of that. Your job is to just trust God. His job is always going to be fulfilled, which is his promises. He's going to do what he said he was going to do. Your job is to trust him with all of your heart. And so sometimes we're, in seasons and we're all in different seasons of our lives, right? So some of us might be in seasons where we're trusting God. Some of us might be in seasons where we feel like we're in the wilderness. Like, when you gonna let me out? Like, I'm always struggling. I'm always going through something. Like, come on, God. Like, I know you hear me. Sometimes you might be in a season of you're dreaming and you're seeing every day and you're interpreting dreams and you just like, oh my God, like it's just so amazing. And you're like, I can hear and I can hear clearly. Sometimes you're in a season of like, look, I done prayed and I ain't heard nothing. It's getting real quiet around here. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is in a different season and that's okay because every season has a purpose. And so regardless of what season you're in, regardless of whether you're in a quiet season, regardless of whether you're in a season of always hearing and seeing and knowing and all the things, God is still working. Regardless of whether you feel like he's quiet, he's still working. Regardless of you feel like you're hearing everything so clearly and you just got it all figured out, God is still working. Whatever is happening, he's still working. The thing is, we just have to trust him because we have to remember that regardless of what season you're in, there's no season that we will ever go through where there is not purpose. No season. Regardless of what season we're in, trust God. Know that God is who he says he is. Know that you are who God says that you are. So trusting God, I feel like it comes with practice, right? So So many people are just like, yeah, girl, go ahead and trust God. You know, you can trust God for this job. Just pray about it. And that it's not that easy. And I know that people say, oh, but it is that easy. It might be that easy for some people, but over time, nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to trust God to get me through the situation. And then that's it. And then they've never doubted. We are all human. We all fall short of the glory of God. We all mess up. We all got to be like, all right, God, like, I know I was trying to put my hands in that. My bad. We got to repent and we got to move forward, right? Like, we are all there. And so when I say trust God, I don't want you to think that, oh, she just woke up one day and was like, oh, yeah, God, I'm going to trust you. And then boom, and it happened. That's not how it works. It's just like anything else. I feel like we try to take things in the Bible and we try to make them so hard, right? So just think about how when you're building a relationship with a person, right? And let's just say it's a coworker. You meet a coworker and at first you're like trying to feel them out a little bit. And you're like, okay, I feel like, they might be cool. But then as time goes on and you start working with the person, you're like, okay, they've shown me like who they are. Like I can trust them. You might have been in different situations where it's like, I'm about to see how they react to this situation. And it's like, okay, they didn't throw me under the bus. We worked as a team. And you're like, okay, the more time goes on, the easier it is to trust this person. It's the same thing. People like to say like, oh, you just need to trust God. And while that might be true, it don't come that easy for some people. But with a relationship, it does. Just like that relationship with that coworker, where it's like, okay, I don't really know because I've never really like fully trusted somebody before, especially a coworker. So let me just kind of like see where this goes. Sometimes it's the same thing when building a relationship with Christ. It's like, all right, like I know these people keep telling me like all I got to do is pray and I just got to trust him and it'll work. Sometimes it start like that and then we fall off to the wayside because it's taking too long, but we have to remember our timing is not God's timing. And so it's the same thing. So when you're building a relationship with Christ and you're like, okay, God, I know that I need to trust you. I know that I need to have faith. It's the same thing. You continue to build a relationship with him just like you would continue to build a relationship with that coworker. And you will see over time, he's going to come through. Things are going to start happening. Will they all happen simultaneously? Will they all happen the way that you think that they're going to happen? Absolutely not. But will God come through for you? Yes, he will. And so as you continue to cultivate your relationship with Christ and as you begin to continue to get into your word and you continue to pray and you continue to fast and all of these things, that trust will start to come and it'll start to build. And sometimes you'll go through trials and you feel like you just got set back because it's like, okay, God, like I didn't trusted you and you came through for me all of these times. And now it seems like I'm going through something that's just beyond, I don't see a way out. But the thing is, you still got to trust him. Even if you don't see a way out, you still apply those same principles. You still dig into learning him. You still go in and say, you know what, God? I'm going to still lean on you. I'm going to still read your word. I'm going to still apply your word. I'm going to still talk about your word. I'm going to still do what it is that you have called me to do, that you have called all of us to do, which is build a relationship with you. I'm going to still do those things while continuing to trust you, even when I just don't see a way out. And so I think that trusting God comes with practice. And maybe some people, I just have not met them. Maybe some people it's just like, boom, they start trusting God out the gate. I don't know. That wasn't me. I feel like I had to like learn some stuff and then I had to go through some things. And then I was like, oh, he worked it out that time. Oh, he worked it out again. Oh, he worked it out again. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, okay, it became a little bit easier as time went on because you've seen God work. You've seen him move. And so you'll start to find yourself in situations where you trust in God and the people around you like, she ain't anxious about this. And in your mind, you're like, no, I've seen him help me through worse, right? And so I just want to encourage you all to continue to trust God. And I'll give you some examples in the Bible. And I think that these stories are, when you think about them, they're funny to me. So like the story of Jonah, God told him to go to Nineveh to give a message to the people. Jonah decides he's going to run the other way because he like, look, I'm not finna do this. Like, I don't want no parts, right? And we know what happens next. Storm comes, he ends up in the belly of a big fish. Some people say belly of a whale, whatever. He ended up being somewhere he had no business because he wasn't obedient. Because if he was obedient and he had trusted God and he had went to go deliver the message that he was supposed to deliver, that wouldn't happen. But guess what? It also had to happen because then sometimes we end up in things we like, man, I should have just trusted God and I would not be here. And so the next time something happened, we apply those principles, right? Another example of, in the Bible when God was trusted and what happened. So the 3 Hebrew boys, they said, look, even if he don't save us out this fiery furnace, I know who God is. And guess what? I just love this story so much. And I'll probably do like a story time on this. And I think I have one on my Instagram. It was like, even if he don't save us, that's how much they trusted him. That's how much they believed in God. Even if he don't, it still won't be fine. But because God is who he is, he saved them. Clothes wasn't burnt. They didn't smell like smoke. None of that. Meaning, sometimes God is going to take you through things. You're going to trust him through the process, and you're not going to look like what you've been through. Right? And I know that so many people that's watching this can attest to the fact that we've gone through so much, and people be looking at us like, dang, like you went through that? Like as soon as you tell somebody a testimony, they're like, that happened to you? Yes, that happened to me. But I'm glad that I don't look like what I've been through. And so we have to remember that there's so many examples in the Bible of times where people trusted God and times where they didn't. And you can see the different outcomes. And so I'm going to share a story and just kind of share a time when I really had to trust God, like for real, for real. So I remember it was probably like back in like, maybe like 2013, 2014, because I think I was still in my master's program. And I was living in this apartment complex, and this apartment complex was so bad. Like, the apartment complex was so bad, y'all. Like, there was rodents. It smelled. They were renovating, and it was supposed to be just this beautiful, like, oasis of a place. It was a hot mess. Like, it was mold in there. I developed, like, upper respiratory issues that I still, like, have today. To make a long story short, the renovations had never ended up coming when they were supposed to come. And so as my lease was about to be up in like 2 months, I'm like, oh no, I'm not paying for this. And I'm about to move up out of here because I feel like the water is always cut off. So I got to be late to work some days because I can't take a shower till 12 o'clock. Like it's when I walk out my door, it's going to be trash and mud and dirt outside. The smell is awful. You got papers up saying asbestos and I'm allergic to mold. Like it was just a mess, y'all. It was awful. And so anyway, I decide, I got 2 months left in my lease. I'm finna find me a place to live because it won't be here. So I ended up renting this townhouse before my actual lease was up at this apartment because I'm like, oh no, I got to get out of here. Moving to this townhouse, loved it. It was a 3-story townhouse. It was so beautiful. And I loved it. While I was there, because remember, I left that apartment 2 months early and I did not pay the rent. I did not pay the rent those last 2 months because in my mind, I'm like, I've gone to the office and I've complained. I've talked to management. I've written letters. Y'all, there's a review on Yelp. Find it if you may. I was going in. I was mad because I'm like, I paid this much money for this apartment and it looked like this. So anyway, I didn't pay the rent those last 2 months. So I got into my townhouse. I set it up all nice. Loved it. I got a summons in the mail. I got a summons in the mail for those 2 months rent that I missed. Or I ain't gonna say missed because I just didn't pay because I just felt like y'all better be lucky I ain't sue y'all. Anyway, so I got a summons in the mail for me to go to court because they were trying to sue me over those 2 months. And I'm like, God, I don't even know if I was doing the right thing. I don't know what it was, but I just knew I could not live in those conditions. And I feel like God did not want me to live in those conditions. So I needed to get out of there. So anyway, I got the summons in the mail and my heart sank. I'm like, yo, like, cause this was like the first time that I've ever gotten anything like that in the mail telling me that I needed to come to court. And I'm like, oh my God, like what in the world is going on? So anyways, I get the paper and I'm reading it and it's telling me like how much I owe and it's telling me that I need to go to court. It's not even giving me like an option to like just pay it. Like it's telling me that I need to go to court on this day at this time. And I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, you know what? Genuinely in my heart, I feel like I could not live in those conditions. I'm having upper respiratory issues. Like I'm developing health issues. Like I genuinely I could not have stayed there any longer. Like genuinely, like I just could not have. Like I don't believe that I would have survived in those conditions. I remember coming home from vacation one time. I had a hole in my ceiling because there was like a leak. They never told me that they came in my apartment. Like it was just a mess. So anyways, I'm like, okay, God, like I genuinely believe that I could not have survived living there like in those conditions. So I had to move. When I tell y'all this was the first time I ever laid prostrate before God, like I got on my face literally on my face, like praying like, God, I don't know what you need to do, how you need to do it. It ain't none of my business. But what I do know is when I go to that court, this need to be dismissed because I genuinely believe that I need to pay for this because these were not proper living conditions. What I signed the lease for was not this. When I signed the lease, it was a promise that the apartment complex would be renovated to this. That's what I signed. Like that's what I signed up for. And they not trying to let me out of my lease and I had to leave. Like I'm having health issues. Like I can't. So I'm praying. And I don't think I told anybody about this. Like I don't think I called anybody and was like, oh my God, that's what happened. I laid prostrate. I prayed before God and I'm like, it's out of my hands. I get to court. They call my name. They said, Brittany Yates. Before I could even stand all the way up, the judge said, case dismissed. What? And when I tell you, I used to live, the apartment was in Alexandria, Virginia. And if anybody from the DMV area know, Alexandria is expensive. So the money that they wanted wasn't a little bit of money. Like it wasn't $1,000. It wasn't $2,000. Like I was paying money for this apartment. When I barely even standing up, the man said, case dismissed. He said, go get your paperwork over here, wherever he pointed me to. They're going to give you something saying that the case is dismissed and you don't have to pay. And then I realized as I was looking around, I started seeing some of my neighbors and I realized that, I wasn't the only one that did this. I wasn't the only one that was experiencing health issues. I wasn't the only one that was experiencing all of these different things. Like it was so many people in there from the apartment complex. And I just thank God that like, even when I didn't know he was working. I never had to tell that judge that I had health issues because it was people that came in there before me. It was people that came in after me and was telling about their stories and all of these. I didn't even have to explain. I didn't even have to say, I didn't pay because of X. I didn't have to say nothing. Brittany Yates, I got case dismissed. That's it. I went back to work because this was during lunch break. I went back to work. Like I didn't take off work. I was like, oh, the courthouse is around the corner from my job. It's during lunchtime. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. And then I'm going to go back to work. And that's exactly what I did. I got them papers from them people that said the case was dismissed. And I went back to work. Thank you, God. I'm so glad that I did not have to pay for this because I'm like, I just moved into this townhouse. I don't got no money to be paying these people. Like, so I really just thank God for that because it's just like, you really just never know like what's going to come up, what's going to happen. You just never know. But I just know in that moment of trusting God that he was going to get rid of that debt, that he wasn't going to have these people sue me for whatever amount of money. Like, I was like, God, this is beyond me. You're going to have to help me. Like, yeah. And so I just thank God that he put me in a position to know that I can lean on him and trust him and pray and just know that he is who he is. Because at that moment, like, I think that was the first time, like, I literally prayed about something and let it go. I didn't think about it. I didn't try to figure it out. Because let me tell y'all, before, I would have looked at that court paper. I would have called them people at that courthouse. I'd have been like, how can I set up a payment arrangement? Like, I know it don't say nothing about I can pay, but how can, like, I would have put my hands all in it. I know, because the way that I think logically, I can figure this out before I even got to go to court. But that's not what I did. I said, God, you're going to have to figure this out for me on my behalf. Because I know this is beyond me. So anyway, I just thank God for that because God is just so good. And I can give y'all another example too. So this example is actually recent. So I was getting my doctorate degree, and I finished last year at the end of 2024. And I remember writing this list, and I told myself, okay, I'm going to do these. I had maybe a list of like 4 or 5 goals, and one of them was to get into the federal government. And the reason why that, first of all, I never had aspirations to get into the federal government. I was never one of those people that was like, oh, I'm gonna graduate from college, I'm gonna get me a good government job. Like, I just know that's my plan. That, not that it was never an option, but it was never something that was like, I gotta do this, right? And so what changed my mind was when I did my dissertation on Black women SES in the federal government and how they ascended into those leadership roles, because I knew that Black women SES were underrepresented. And as I did my study, I was like, hold on. I have the ability to make a change here. I have the ability to get into the federal government, try to become an SES, not even try because I'm going to, become an SES and make a difference. I'm going to be a part of the number, right? So that was one of my goals. And so I was like, all right. So I got somebody to redo my resume. I'm applying. I hired this girl who helps you apply. Like, I was doing all of these things. Apply. Nothing was happening. I'm like, okay, so I'm talking to my friends and my family. They're like, look, it's hard to get into the government. Like, you got to go through USA jobs. Like, it's this, it's that. And I'm like, look, I'm used to being a federal government contractor, okay? I just got to submit my resume. They call me. I talk to them, and they be like, you start in 2 weeks. Like, I'm not used to this long, drawn-out process. Like, what is this? And so they like, well, it's a numbers game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I applied for 400 jobs, and out of those 400, I got 4 callbacks. First of all, what? So I'm just like, okay, so I'm still pressing through, and I'm still doing it. And at some point, I'm just like, okay, this too much. Like, I'm working from home right now on my contracting job. Maybe I don't need to be in the government. Maybe I'll do this later, because this is taking up too much of my time. I have other things that I need to do, right? So that's how I'm thinking. So we go on vacation, and I'm talking to my mom, and she's on the phone with people from work. And my mother, she's retired now, but she worked in the government. And I said, Mom, you think you could submit my resume? She said, yeah. Y'all, because my mom worked in a different field, I don't know why I just never, actually I do know why it didn't really, like, it dawned on me before, but it never really came into anything, because I knew that they didn't do remote work. So I'm like, okay, I know that I'm gonna have to go into the office, and that's just not something that I want. But I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. So here I go, put my hands and stuff. So I submit the resume. They like the resume, and they're like, all right, cool. We're gonna, whatever. They like me, they're going to bring me on. If you know anything about the federal government, you know that the processes move real slow. So as I'm in the process of waiting to be brought on to this particular job, I start getting callbacks now from all of those other applications that I had filled out. So I'm like, oh, these people offering remote work. And the place that my mom has submitted my resume to, they're not offering remote work. So I'm more interested in these ones that's offering remote work. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm just like, all right, like, yeah. So anyway, I go on these interviews, and I'm like, oh God, these government interviews is different from contractor interviews. Like, they was asking me like 4-part questions. I'm like, hold on, lady, you got to take it one step at a time, because you giving me A, B, and C and D, and I'm still trying to figure out what you trying to ask me on A. Like, it was just so much. And I was like, okay, contractor interviews is not like this. Like, y'all really trying to get real, real deep. So anyway, y'all, I hear back from one of the remote ones. They offer me the job, but I'm going to rewind just a little bit, because I forgot this one part. So as I was waiting to get to that initial government job that I got, I was like, oh, I know that the government matches salaries. Now, mind you, I told you I was working from home. I was like, oh, I know the government matches salaries. Here I go trying to do something on my own and not trusting God and believing in his process. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and I'm going to get a job that make more money than what I'm already making, so that the government can match my salary. Mind you, I'm working from home. So here I go. I do my own thing, because I know I can get a job pretty quick in the contracting world. I'm filling out resumes. I'm filling out applications. Boom, got a hit. They call me. They like, oh, we interview. We're like, oh, we love to bring you on at X amount of dollars. Cool. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just work this job until this government people decide they're gonna bring me on. Cause then I could just negotiate my salary and have them match it. Now, mind you, I'm leaving my 100% remote job to make more money just so I can leave that job and make more money in the government because I know that they will match salaries. When I tell y'all, so I ended up taking that job. I let go of my remote job. Get into this other job. I love the people I'm working with. But when I tell y'all I was struggling with getting to work 5 days a week, I did not make it one full pay period without taking off. Child, I was going on vacations. I was like, look, y'all gonna have to catch me later. I was going on vacations. I was taking off just because I was so stressed out. I was like, oh, no. I'm not going to be able to do this. So I'm talking to Brandon and I'm like, that's my husband for those who are new here. So I'm talking to Brandon and I'm like, this is stressing me out. Like, when I tell you I was stressed, and I'm not the type of person that be getting stressed. I was stressed. I'm like, I can't do this. I love the work I'm doing. I love the people I'm working for, but I just cannot go here 5 days a week. Like, this is crazy. And some of y'all are like, why is that crazy? Because I've been working remote since the pandemic. So now I'm like, I'm back in this office just for some extra money. Like, what in the world? Like, I'm already making good money and then I'm over here being greedy. That's how we be doing, y'all. Instead of just listening to God and just trusting his process. I'm over here being greedy, trying to get this money. And I was like, Brandon, I think I'm gonna have to just quit this job. He like, all right, B, that's cool. You can quit. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna just quit and I'm gonna just wait for the government job, like, just for them to bring me on. Cause I knew they was gonna hire me. Like I had my offer and everything, but I didn't have like the final offer with the date on it. So I was like, okay, so I ended up getting rid of that job. And I basically just told them like, look, this is beyond me, child. I can't do this. So anyway, I get, one of the other jobs that I was interviewing for, that I was telling y'all that had them 6-part questions, they ended up offering me a job as well. So now I got 2 government job offers. So I'm like, okay, of course I'm gonna take the one that's remote because that's the one that made more sense to me. I prayed about it. And somebody that works at that agency called me. And I basically told them my dilemma. And they basically told me what to do. And I said, okay. Okay, so I prayed. God confirmed what she told me to do. And I said, okay. She told me, you take that other job. Now, mind you, this job is still a in-person job. That's 5 days a week. So I'm like, dang, I'm about to be back to this again. Like, God told me to do it, but I don't know because I'm struggling with this going into work 5 times now. And you telling me that the job you want me to take is 5 days a week? I'm already struggling. So anyway, I'm like, at this point, I'm like, all right, I just got to trust God because I'm doing too much. Like, I'm over here quitting this job. I'm over here getting a job to make more money so that this job can match this job salary. But then the job I got is stressing me out because I got to go to work all these days. So I was like, you know what? I'm praying. This lady done told me what to do. God confirmed it. Y'all, tell me why the job that God told me to take ended up giving me a start date. So I'm like, all right, this is lining up. This is what God said. He said he wanted me to take that job. They gave me a start date. So anyway, it comes to the point where I have to tell that other government job that I'm not going to take it because I'm going to take this other job. So that ends up working out. But in the back of my mind, I was still like, I don't know about this 5-day week thing, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to leave it in his hands. And I tell y'all, I'm currently at this job now, and this is the best job I've ever had. I don't even be wanting to take off work. I enjoy working with this team so much that I be at work, like, I used to ask my mother, like, why you staying at work so long? Like, your shift ends, girl. Why are you still there? And now I know when God tells you to wait on something and he's taking you through this and he's taking you through that and he's telling you to do, he will give you the tools that you need. He will give you the patience that you need. He will get, sometimes we be going through this long process and God's just like, girl, you don't even have to go through that because I already lined up for you the perfect team, the perfect leadership, all of that. And I didn't make myself all stressed out because I'm putting my hands in stuff. And that's not what he asked me to do. He already told me when I prayed to wait on this other job. But because I wanted more money, because I wanted all of these things. And let me tell y'all, the pay ain't that much different. So I done did all of that for no reason at all. And when I tell y'all, I'm so glad that in the end, I ended up being like, all right, God, like, this is what you said. I'm just gonna just do it. I can't even begin to express. And if anybody knows me, they knows like my mind is always on entrepreneurship all the time and how to make my businesses better and all of that. Now, I still be thinking about stuff like that, but I've never thought of a job, like a 9-to-5 job, in the way that I think about this job. The leadership, unmatched. Co-workers, unmatched. I'm also not the type of person, I don't be talking to no co-workers, y'all. I don't mingle after work. I don't be texting people. I don't even, one coworker in my entire time of working that I've ever built a relationship with that I still talk to this day. Like, she was at my wedding and everything. One. Just one. I'm 35. One coworker. When I don't know what kind of people God put at this job, but when I tell you that these people are so amazing, we sit there, we send each other sermons. We talk about our favorite gospel artists. We talk about health and wellness. Like, it's so edifying. I have never experienced anything like this in my life. And I thank God for that, because it's like we try to do so much and we try to we think we taking shortcuts and we thinking we getting over on the system and we thinking we doing all of this. And God like, girl, you doing too much. Like, just wait. I'm trying to get some people out of there so I can bring all the good people in there, because that's exactly what happened. Had I like applied for this job like a year ago, or had I asked my mom to submit my resume like a couple years ago, it would not be the same experience. It was a different leadership. It was different people. And it's like you applying for all these jobs and you trying to figure out, okay, God, like it's usually easy for me to get a job. Like, why is this not happening? It's not happening for a reason. It doesn't mean that he's denying you. It doesn't mean that it'll never happen. It doesn't mean that this particular thing that you're waiting on is not for you. It simply just means that God knows what he's doing. And it's not your business. It's not your business how he's going to do what he said he was going to do. You just got to trust him and do it, right? So anyway, when you be putting your hands and stuff, it be backfiring real quick. So I just thank God. And I want to leave y'all with this scripture. Proverbs 3:5-6. It says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thy own understanding. All thy ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. And I just want to remind y'all that you need to grant yourself some grace sometimes, because trusting God is not always easy. People going to badger you about it. Trust God, trust God. Why you not trusting him? Why you not trusting him? Sometimes it's going to be hard, but it's okay. Grant yourself some grace. Just don't stay in that place, right? Just don't stay in that place of not trusting him. Get yourself together. Snap out of it, right? And so I just want to encourage y'all to trust in God with all of your heart. Not just a part of it. Not just when it's easy. Not just like when it feel good. Trust in him at all times and with all of your heart. And so I just want to encourage you all that whatever you're going through, at whatever point you're going through it, whatever season that you're going through it, just know that trust God with all your heart. Don't lean to your own understanding, meaning don't lean to the thing. Don't do what I did and put your hands and stuff. And acknowledge him in all your ways, and he's going to direct your path. Like, just continuously remember that. And so, yeah, I just want to leave y'all with that word of encouragement. And so I hope somebody enjoyed this today. And I hope that I encourage you all to trust God. Don't be like me when it comes to not trusting God. There were times that I did trust him, though. And I will get into that in another video. There's so many times in my life that I trusted God. Like, oh my God. Like, there's so many times. And I gave y'all one example on here about the apartment complex that tried to sue me, even though they the reason why I'm sniffing right now, because I still got upper respiratory issues. But anyway, I hope this encouraged somebody today. And I hope that you lean on God, that you trust him in all that you do, that you know that he is the I am, that you know he is everything that he said he was going to be. He is a provider. And so thank you all for watching. Make sure you leave me a comment below. Make sure you subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed this word of encouragement. My camera says I have been on here for 35 minutes. and I thought it was going to be 15. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you.